Hi, this is Sherron, the Modern Savvy CPA, continuing my series on financial literacy, making sure that you guys are getting all financially lit. Today, we're going to cover insurance. So there's this part I'm going to be talking to you guys about insurance and the importance of insurance and what it really is, so you kind of understand it. It's probably the most financial thing that I will cover, but it's also an important part of our budget. And depending on what kind of insurance, it's becoming a larger part of my budget. So I definitely need to inform you guys about it. And since a lot of what we talk about and a lot of the things that I talk to you guys and inform you guys about is from either my experience in my life, my career, with my clients. So everything that we talk about and all the things that we go over are things that I've experienced or have seen or, comes from a place of understanding, so you guys can understand more about it. So on the first video, on the first part of it, we're going to be covering, I'm going to be covering all the types of insurance and just explaining what it is and how it works and things like that. And then on the second part, we're going to have a guest. We're going to have Jonathan. He was my lifesaver last year when I needed homeowners insurance and no one ever wanted to cover me. So he's going to come on and give you guys little snippets, little myths and things like that about insurance overall and more precise homeowners insurance. And he's even going to be covering a little bit on commercial insurance if you need to understand a little bit about that. So let's start off with what insurance is. So insurance is a contract. It's represented like a policy. So it's a contract that's a policy and you're the policy holder. It's for financial protection and reimbursement against losses. So that's what happens. Insurance companies can give us insurance because they pool all their clients' risk together. So they put the high risk clients, low risk clients, everybody in one pool. We pay our insurance. Sometimes, depending on the type of insurance, higher risk clients pay more, and lower risk clients get more discounts depending on what it is that we're doing. So they pool their risk together. So that's how they're able to make money, because we need to make sure we understand that insurance companies are non-profit. They are in the business of making profit. We see that all the time down here in South Florida when we look at our homeowners policy. We see it around the country when we talk about health insurance. So this is definitely not a financial per se thing to look at, but I am very passionate about the industry itself and how it affects a larger part of our budget. So I want to make sure you guys understand that I'm very passionate about the problems with the insurance industry and the problems with certain insurance and how unaffordable it has become lately. So I'm definitely going to give you my opinions on those things. And like I said, it comes from my experience. So like I said, it's a contract, which is the policy. You have the insurer, you are the insured. So there are many types of insurance policies. There's life insurance, health insurance, homeowners insurance, auto insurance are among the most common types of insurance. So the main components of an insurance is the insurance policy is the premium, which is what we pay, the deductible, which is what we would pay if something happens before we get any type of policy reimbursement subject to the policy limits. So that's a basic understanding of an insurance components. So how does insurance work? Many insurance policies are available for individuals or business, and with the insurance company, of course, they're insuring us for a price. There is a price on everything, especially insurance. Common personal insurance policy types, like I said, are auto, health, homeowners, life, those are the most common types. And insurance itself is mainly governed and regulated by the state laws. It's certain insurance are the requirements for insurance depend on your state law for the most part. So it depends on what state you live in, even for health insurance. Although some health insurance might come from the federal level or it might be on a federal time, it is regulated by your state law. So depending on your state, your health insurance policy will be subject to that. Even if you're being insured with Blue Cross and Blue Shield or any type of large national insurance company, it is still indemnified per state. So, it's like a lot of things, it's based on that. So that's what it is. So like I said, most are, not all insurance are regulated by the state law. So we just want to be aware that that's how it works. So within our 50 states, depending on the state you live in, your policy might differ, your policy limits might differ, your premiums might differ. It all depends on that. So understanding how insurance work is, also depends on what type of policies you choose to work. For example, with auto insurance, we have comprehensive policies that are insurance with the premiums and the limits and deductibles. So we, plus we have liability insurance for auto policies. So it kind of depends on what it is. So a premium in the policy is the price that you would be paying monthly, annually, whatever the top terms of your insurance is, that you would be paying. Homeowners is similar to that. It depends on the value of your home, location, claim history, covers amount, etc. Homeowners differ from state to state vastly. Like, when Northerners move to Florida, they do not realize that their homeowners insurance can be 10, 20 times the insurance that they're paying up north. Even the value of their house up north is more, because we need wind and hurricane insurance down here. And that's become a literal show in our state. So we definitely, that's something that we need to address in the state of Florida. Then there's health insurance. Health insurance has been something also that has skyrocketed in the last few decades. I used to work for the American Red Cross in their accounting department, and I used to be in charge of the policies. I saw within the first 5 years of working there that the health insurance policies that the company was paying for its employees was going up between 18 and 25% each year. So when I started, a policy for a family with no deductibles was $400. When I left, it was almost $2,000. So, that makes it, when the companies used to pay for it or pay more of it, then we didn't really have a lot of say in it. But now, if we're not contributing all of it, we're contributing at least 50% of it. Plus, we have deductibles and co-insurance and all these other things that you need a literal class to understand how it works. Then we have life insurance, which also depends on your health and all the different things. And the policy limits, maximum and minimum, also depends on that. So it depends on your life insurance a lot, depends on the amount of coverage you want, the type of life insurance you want, whether it's whole life, variable life, or term life. I always recommend when you have children, you get coverage. So at least a term life policy for individuals with children, because you might not be able to afford all the other policies, and I have my opinion on that, but you definitely want coverage. Every kid that was born, for me, I only have 2, thank God, my husband and I got new policies of life insurance, because if something happens to them, we are their primary provider. Deductibles for insurance depend on how much deductible it is. Depend on the policy that you have. Some policies is $1,000. Some policies is $2,000. With health insurance, it can go up to $5,000, $10,000. So, it kind of depends on where you're at there. So, you with health insurance, you need to understand that's something we definitely need, because that's probably one that we use the most with what in our lives today. So if you're gonna have a list of the type of insurance that you're definitely going to use, I would say health insurance would be the number one. Auto insurance is required by law, so that would be number 2. So at one time we had a tax penalty for not having health insurance. We no longer have that, but we still have the need for health insurance, and the number one reason that Americans file for bankruptcy is illness and not having the proper insurance. So although it's not a lot to talk about financially right now, it can be something that engulfs your life because it is the number one reasons Americans file for bankruptcy. Homeowners insurance is another thing that we need to look at. Lenders, if you have a mortgage, require homeowners insurance. You are required to have renters insurance. Kind of depends on what it is that you need to look for. Sometimes your landlords require you to have renters insurance, but homeowners insurance is required most of the time, almost 100% of the time, by your mortgage company. So you need to have coverage. Depending on the state you are, the different requirements for the coverage is different. Like I said, in Florida, our policies have to have wind and hurricane insurance. We are in an insurance crisis here in Florida, and we really need to look at our insurance, overhaul our homeowners insurance here, because it is more than my taxes that I pay. We definitely, that's something we need to work on. Life insurance, like I said, it's probably not a need except for when you have people that depend on you. So you want to make sure that you look at that. There's also other types of insurance, like travel insurance. I always look at that when I'm traveling. A lot of the times my credit card that I'm using, I'm making sure that they have travel insurance and they're looking into those type of things. Because just in case something happens, I want to be able to have travel insurance, whether it's the flights, the cruise lines. When it came to COVID, I am more inclined to get travel insurance because of COVID, because you just never know what could happen last minute. So the bottom line here is insurance helps to protect you and your family against unexpected financial costs and resulting in debt or the risk of losing your assets. You want to make sure you have insurance to protect yourself. How much insurance you have, what kind of insurance varies from state to state, person to person, companies to companies, but we need to be aware of insurance, especially we need to be very informed about our health insurance, what our health insurance cover. Every year when it's open enrollment time, I spend at least 4 to 6 hours reviewing all of the policies that my husband companies offer, which policy is better for my family, because depending on the things that's needed, for example, if my kids need braces, so, for dental insurance, what kind of co-pays I need, what kind of illness is within your family, what kind of diseases your family currently has. So then you decide which one is right. Not every health insurance policy is right for every time. Like, for example, I switched my policy last year because of certain reasons when I looked at my data and my family's data, and I felt like getting a different policy was better for me at that time. You also need to look at their medication coverage, because medication can be that expensive. So you definitely need to look at your health insurance. Auto insurance is a necessity. If you have, you need to look at the liability coverage on it, depending on if you have assets or not. So if your assets is more, then, you probably need a higher liability coverage. So just in case there's an accident, someone can't come after you. So you definitely need to look at auto insurance. Homeowners insurance, like I said, for most of the country, we need to think about different parts of the country where certain national disasters are. And, for example, in Tornado Alley, they might need tornado insurance, so it depends on where you are, where the different state requires thing. In Florida, I'm always talking about it. My number one issue with living in the state of Florida is my homeowner's insurance policy, and that nothing is being done or said to help us on that. So I definitely have a bone to pick with that, because I had a big issue with my homeowner's insurance, not able to get a policy, and it was going to cost me like $18,000 to get a policy because my insurance of last resort would not cover me because my home was valued more than their limit. So I had no insurance for a whole month. But that's where Jonathan came in and never gave up on me and got me a policy for like $8,500, which was better than the $18,000 that it was about to cost me. So, so those are the basic review of all the types of insurance, going down from the most needed to the requirements to life insurance, and then we can go into more and more on that stuff. So right now I'm going to end my solo session, and we're going to bring on Jonathan in the next part 2 of insurance.